Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. Some of you had asked me to explain a little bit more about how I played my version of Still, 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 an Austrian Christmas carol and lullaby. I'm going to start out by playing the melody of this song. It's very simple. It's in the key of G. So as you can see, it's very simple and it leaves you a lot of room to play around with it, improvise, and see what sounds good to you. Now, one of the things that I have done that you might work with is alternate the rhythm of the melody a little bit. Try rolling your hammers, maybe using some arpeggios. That's one example. I'll go ahead and play a little bit more. Now, another thing that I suggest you do when you're trying for a relaxing effect of your song is let the song breathe. You want to do pausing in between phrases of the music. Give your listeners time to stop and reflect on how the song is making them feel. Another thing you can do is change the notes up some for both the melody and the harmony. You just keep it within the same chord, but you can change out the positions of the chord. Like, for example, if you're playing just a G chord, a 1-3-5 chord, 1-3-5. Well, to harmonize with any given part of the song, if the harmony is calling for a G chord, you might do the 5 of the chord, or the 3 of the chord, or the 1 of the chord. You can switch it up. It don't always play your chords the same way. It adds musicality to sometimes play a chord one way during one run through of the song and then play it another way the second run through of a song. Just make sure that if you're alternating, how you play your chords, just still play it within the notes of the chord that it's called for, so it'll sound right. Another thing that you might have noticed that I used is a counter melody in my recording. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of the song how I played it in my original recording. Now you notice that is actually not the melody of Still, Still, Still. That is a counter melody that I just worked out. And a counter melody is the simple explanation. I looked on Wikipedia. A counter melody is a secondary melody played in counterpoint with the primary melody. It's basically something that's sometimes people decide to add to a song for variety and excitement. And sometimes if you play a counter melody, if you don't have someone to play with, you can hum the melody to yourself and see that the two go together and can be played simultaneously. So I'm going to go ahead and play a counter melody for Still, Still, Still again, and I want you to see if you can hum the first few notes of the song as it goes as I play the counter melody. Now I'm going to go ahead and play the melody. Well, actually, I ended up playing most of the song, but anyway, a counter melody is something where if you want to improvise and play around, you might see if you can get someone to play the melody along with you as you work on it. See what sounds good to you. Another thing I did was that I used the counter melody as an intro. When you're playing a song, one of the things that makes it sound really pretty is to start with some sort of an intro rather than launching straight into the melody of the song. In my intro, I chose to use a counter melody for the intro. So I'm more of an intuitive player than anything else, so explaining this is not super easy for me, but I hope it made some sense. I'm going to go ahead and play through the song, and I hope that you can hear some examples of what I just talked about in the song. Another thing that I did here that I didn't explain is that I kind of gave it I guess it's called an outro, where I kind of slowed down at the end and changed things up a little bit. Again, I just kind of swapped out some notes in the chording and slowed it down and did a little bit of an arpeggio up the scale. So that's just a simple and pretty way that you can end a song. Anyway, I hope that this has been somewhat helpful. When I publish this video, I'll provide a couple of links for you to refer to so that you can work on your own. Thanks, y'all. Have a great new year.